Hey guys, it is finally here, the long requested video on the Warrens. I've been meaning to get this up for so long, and the plan was to have it go up last week, but then life stuff got in the way. So this week it is finally here. And quick note, this will be the last video featuring the current artwork of my character. I've been working on new pieces to celebrate my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, and so the next video that goes up will start featuring the new pieces. And if you'd ever like to see the gallery of artwork I do on my character, don't forget that I have an Instagram page where I upload that sort of stuff. And some other stuff too, but that's whatever. Anyway, let's talk about the Warrens trailer and what else might be exciting to see in a Charmed prequel series. So the trailer starts off with the reading of a will naming the 3 cousins as the beneficiaries of an unnamed man, and it seems like there was some sort of power grab because the next scene implies that Pearl, P. Russell, has been forced out. And I actually think that's a really interesting idea for their story and a good way to establish conflict amongst the cousins before magic even came into play, because I'll tell you what, if I was in Pearl's place and had access to magic, it would take a lot of self-restraint not to whip open a cookbook and make them very sorry. As it is, I recently got this Bitchcraft book, which I got because I think it's so petty and hilarious. I love it. It's Bitchcraft, simple spells for everyday annoyances and sweet revenge. And, you know, like for example, the first spell in the book is for inconsiderate cell phone talkers, and it says, "May your cell plan be switched without you knowing, so that while you chatter, your bill just keeps growing." And, you know, it's just full of stuff like that. So petty. I love it. But, back to the trailer. The next scene shows one of them reading the spell in the front of the Book of Shadows, the one that gives them their powers, which makes no sense at all, but we'll come back to that later. But yeah, pretty much the rest of the trailer is them realizing they can do magic, being creeped on and attacked by someone with a fireball, and vowing to stick together and face whatever comes their way, ending in a really cool scene of them walking up the stairs of the manor with Season of the Witch by Donovan playing in the background. And I also found another teaser trailer, if you will, that pretty much shows the exterior of a similar looking house with "If You Were the Only Girl in the World" playing, which I've always really loved since I heard it in the actual Pardon My Past episode. So if they ever did do a series like that, I'd love to hear more music from the 20s. That's what I love about period pieces anyway. You get to see what everything was like back then. The music, the clothes, the furniture, the cars, you know, the way people were and interacted. It's very interesting to me. But I feel like I keep getting off track. Anyway, so my thoughts on the trailer are that it was actually pretty good, and I love the aesthetics and the tone and the basic idea. I wish whoever had created the trailer had an original idea for the story, because let's be real, the whole trailer is pretty much a recycled version of the original Charmed pilot episode, Something Wicca This Way Comes. I mean, you have 3 women inheriting the manor after the previous owner died. One person leaves for 6 months and then comes back, just like Phoebe did. Someone reads the same spell she read to access their powers, and everything from there on out is essentially a carbon copy, from the chandelier shaking, the pot overflowing with smoke, running up the stairs away from a threat, vowing to stick together and face the forces of evil while walking up the stairs of the manor. I just feel that if you're going to put this much effort into creating something like this, then it only makes sense to come up with a story to match, not recycle one from the show you're basing it off, you know? Not to mention how little sense it makes for them to be reading the spell at the front of the Book of Shadows to receive their powers, because first, that spell says "we sisters 3," not "we cousins 3," so right away that's a plot hole. But also, as far as we know, most of the Warren line grew up with their witchy powers. The only reason Grams and Patty bound the Charmed One's powers away to begin with was because of that Nicholas business, and they didn't want him to come after them. So after Grams died, those powers were released, and Phoebe reading that spell sealed the deal, and that's how they became witches. But that situation was exclusive to them. There should be no reason that any of the cousins would would have grown up without their powers and read a spell that doesn't even apply to them, especially since 2 of the 3 didn't even have Warren powers. They had random ones like ice and fire, not premonitions, telekinesis, and the power to stop time. Which, if a show like this ever comes to be, I hope they find a way to explain that, because that was a bit bizarre. They should have had Warren powers if they are from the Warren line. But personally, I think an interesting take on the idea would be for all of them to receive the house as an inheritance, but then utilize the real world events that were happening at the time, like World War I and the Roaring Twenties, to help shape the narrative. I mean, they grew up in a very unstable time in world history, if you think about it. So I could definitely see living in an unstable world with access to magic and fighting over an inheritance being a melting pot for conflict, and definitely leaving an opening for Anton to swoop in and sway P. Russell to his side. We could maybe even see him using his shape-shifting ability to pit the girls against one another. I don't know, it's just a random idea, but it would definitely be something I'd be interested in watching. Probably only for a season though. Honestly, I don't really watch too many TV series, and one of the main reasons is because I feel like they go on way too long. I feel like that's one of the reasons the first seasons of shows are so great. You come in with these characters and you have this story to tell, but usually by the end of the season, that story resolves itself and the writers just have to keep on coming up with new ways to throw conflicts at the characters as the show goes on until the storylines are either super boring, super repetitive, or both. But yeah, there's few shows I've ever seen manage to get around that and just keep it fresh and interesting each season. Game of Thrones, for instance, but we all know how that ended. By the way, thank you guys for that. Did I ever tell you how much I don't like you? Yeah, you guys and Brad Kern should just go away. But yeah, point is, I saw a comment in the comment section on the trailer that I think had a great idea for a Charmed prequel series, and that idea was to make the prequel series something like The Crown, where every season is its own story and focuses on a different generation, so we get to see all of the Warren women come into their own, and it would be such a great opportunity to flesh out all the characters we've heard about throughout the series, like Brianna, who is powerful enough to separate Gabriel from his sword, or Melinda Warren, the originator of their line. And what about all the witches mentioned in the spell they used to defeat the Source? I mean, we know Prudence, Patricia, and Penelope, but what about all the rest of them, like Astrid and Helen and Grace? Imagine finally getting to see all these women from different periods in time fighting evil and see how the torch was passed from generation to generation. I love the idea so much, and if they ever do a series like that, I'm gonna be on that like lights on a tree. Oh my god, I'm hyping myself up for it, and it doesn't even exist. I need to come back down. But yeah. I just hope that if they ever do decide to do a series like this, that they are faithful to the time period it is in. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so sick of all of our favorite movies and shows getting bad plastic surgery for the sake of being woke. All these remakes are annoying me so much. Like, seriously, there's a reason they're classics. Either be faithful to them or leave them alone and do something original. I mean, you're butchering the original so badly anyway that it might as well be something new because it's borderline unrecognizable. But that's a rant for another day. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I just really miss the days where they could just make a movie that was meant to appeal to the audience, something that really got your attention and made you want to go to the theater and sit there and watch the movie and pay to go again and again because you just like it that much, rather than funding a project that's essentially just trying to check off as many boxes as possible. But like I said, that's a rant for another day. In regards to the Warrens trailer, though, it really is a very well-made trailer. Like, you can tell that whoever made it was a Charmed fan, or Charmed fans, as the case may be, because there's just so much love and detail put into this that I don't think a company would have really thought to do. I think that's why it caught so many people's attention in the first place, because it felt like something that really appealed to the fan base and not just some company trying to bank off of nostalgia. So, It would be really, really cool if we could get this in some form in the future. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Please let me know what you think. What would you like to see? Do you have any ideas that, a network should really consider if they actually, greenlight a project like this? Let me know, because I love hearing about this. I know I say it time and time and again, but I really do love Charmed. It is one of those shows that is so deeply connected to childhood that it's hard to separate the two. Charmed is my childhood for me, and I know it is the same for a lot of people. So, if any big companies ever watch this, if you did a show like this and you did it right, you have a built-in fan base. We will back you. We love Charmed. But yeah, please let me know what you think, and I am always taking suggestions for future video ideas if anyone has any. I have a little list I'm keeping of all the suggestions people have made thus far, and I'm getting to them slowly but surely, but I am. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Bye!